So after seeing this movie, I get first dibs on being JoJo's number one friend.
Yogi? Jojo! Oh god, nothing makes sense anymore. Yeah, I know, it's definitely not a good time to be a Nazi.
What's going on, guys, and welcome back to my channel. So this is a review that I meant to post a few days ago, but thanks to Disney Plus, I've been behind on most of my videos, but I still wanted to get my thoughts out on this one. I loved watching this movie. It finally came out at a theater near me, came out a few weeks ago, and I know a majority of people have already seen it. So I want to hear from you guys. Tell me in the comments below, what did you think about this movie, whether you loved it or whether you hated it, and why. And also, guys, consider clicking on the subscribe button. I talk about movies, of course, TV shows, just anything that I am passionate about. But in the meantime, let's talk Jojo Rabbit. A World War II satire that follows a lonely German boy named Jojo, whose worldview is turned upside down when he discovers his single mother is hiding a young Jewish girl in their attic. Aided only by his idiotic imaginary friend Adolf Hitler, Jojo must confront his blind nationalism. Let me just say that this has been a great year for movies, especially this later half of 2019. Almost every movie that I've reviewed, that I've seen, for the most part, I think, not counting Terminator Dark Fate, other than that one, every other movie that I've seen recently has been really good, and this is another one that I'm really impressed by, and I should be impressed and surprised with myself because I usually don't go to the theater to see comedies, and now that I have my own YouTube channel and I'm reviewing movies, I go out and see films that normally I wouldn't see, and this one surprised me and I really liked it. And it's a film that's considered to be a little bit controversial from the critics, and I can understand why it's controversial, and it's a movie that you wouldn't normally see nowadays. But if you go back to 1940, Charlie Chaplin made a film called The Great Dictator. It was a mockery of Nazis as well. He plays a mocked up version of Hitler. So that was during a time when World War II was actually going on. Hitler was alive and he was coming to power. So you could see how much of a big deal that was. So I can understand why possibly this one would be controversial as well. But it still has a very meaningful moral within the story, and I think that's why I really liked it so much. Taika Waititi is the director of this film, and I probably mispronounced that, by the way, but everyone probably knows his name by now. Thor Ragnarok was a movie that he directed. That was the first time I ever heard of him, and the Thor movies was something that I was never really into as much as the other superheroes in the MCU. I liked the first Thor movie. The second Thor movie wasn't that good. I felt what he did with Thor Ragnarok, he brought some life into it. He made it a bit funnier. He gave some life into Thor that I think we needed. I think they're kind of overdoing it with Thor, by the way, after Ragnarok, but what he did in that movie was just the perfect amount just to bring that part of that franchise to life. And he kind of does that with Jojo Rabbit in different ways. It is taking place during World War II, but it has the same sense of comedy in there, the same type of visual, colorful style that you saw in Thor Ragnarok. And what Waititi does for Jojo Rabbit is he takes us to World War II during one of the most tragic events in history in the 20th century, the Holocaust. And this is right during the time when Jews are being taken away. And everyone knows the story already, what happens in this movie, how Jojo's mother is hiding a Jewish girl, and Jojo's supposed to learn that he is supposed to abide by what German wants of him, what Nazis want of him, so he is destined to be a Nazi, and his imaginary friend, of course, is Hitler. So he is now conflicted on who he should be, what his beliefs are, and that's really deep to make that into a comedy. I think those are the comedies I think I really appreciate, the ones where there is a morale tell to it. There's something deeper than these jokes and these laughs, because there are a lot of them. This is a funny movie, but there is something deeper going on, and that's something I really appreciate. And Waititi does that in such a way that at first you don't notice that there is something serious going on, even though there are a lot of jokes, a lot of funny parts. But when the movie's over, you walk out thinking, oh, I understand now. I see what he was trying to say here. But yes, this movie is funny, and he does it in a way that it's very classy with his jokes. He's not too crude, he's not insulting. The movie starts out with Jojo going to this camp, and it's with other children. He's learning how to be a Nazi, And the story revolves obviously around him, and we see immediately his imaginary friend Hitler, which is played by Taika Waititi, which he does an incredible job. This guy deserves an Oscar nomination just for this role that he does. But the story goes on with him seeing his imaginary friend every time he's in a certain situation with either his mother dealing with this Jewish girl. He's questioning himself, and that's when his imaginary friend comes about and he starts having conversations with him. And it's all about Jojo in the end, and you just see that struggle between wanting to be a Nazi, follow the footsteps of his idol Adolf Hitler, or being like his mom and learning to love someone different than him, in this case the Jewish girl. And I said Waititi deserves an Oscar nomination. He does. But let's not forget Scarlett Johansson and Rowan Griffiths Davis, who plays the title role of Jojo. All three of them, they all deserve nominations. I don't care if this movie doesn't get any Oscars consideration technically or Best Picture wise, fine. But these three need to be somewhere in the list for consideration for acting, because they were all phenomenal, especially Davis playing Jojo. He is an actor. He's a young actor. I've never seen him before, and he was phenomenal. Scarlett Johansson, I gotta say, for her playing this mother, it's a role that I'd never seen her play before. And within all the years we've seen her play Black Widow, which she does great in that as well, but I was ready to see her in something different. This is that different, and I loved her so much. There's a lot of funny moments, as I said, but there's a lot of tragic moments too. I'm not going to give it away for anyone who hasn't seen it yet, but these two, it's heartbreaking for certain scenes, with it being her being the mother and Jojo the son, and it's a lot of moments that really stay with you. But she was one that I really, really hope she gets consideration for nomination. But that's just my quick thoughts on Jojo Rabbit. It's a good time at the movies. It has a great message. You're gonna laugh, you're gonna cry, it's gonna make you think afterwards, and that's what movies are all about in the end. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Tell me the thoughts below. What do you think about this movie once again? And also guys, consider clicking on the subscribe button so we can talk movies and more. I'll see you later.